Anthony Hartwig here with a Crestview Volleyball Coach's Corner. First time we're here in a Coach's Corner with Alisha Auer since the start of the season, but even before the start, just a season preview. Here we are all the way back, fifth consecutive district championship, and Coach is joining us ahead of the regional semifinal in Barberton. Coach, thanks for coming on and giving us a kind of a season recap and a preview of this regional semifinal.
Thank you.
You're going through this season, and we got to talk about it before we get into what you're going into on Thursday. You know, you're undefeated. You win another league championship. It's just this continuous bar raising of Crestview volleyball. What is the key to just continuously saying every game, every practice? It's just this work ethic and mentality that Crestview has that is so hard to beat.
The girls come in every practice ready to work. They don't take time off. We don't slack in the gym. They know what the expectations are. And we mix a lot of hard work with fun. And the girls just really enjoy being at practice. So I think that kind of breeds the success that we've had. We've had some really strong players come through that lead by example. And I mean, they're not just kids that are good at volleyball, they're just great kids, good in the classroom. And they work really hard. Even the standouts on our team are always working, always giving 100%. So it's contagious, and then everyone just works hard. It's just a great environment.
Everyone talks about those standouts, and we'll definitely get to them. But I want to talk a little bit about the players that don't get all the limelight that I know do so much, especially in practice, going up against these players. I'm sure you put them across the net with some of your quote unquote standout players to give them blocks and give them digs. And, you know, I'm talking about people like Katie Lissy, Natalie Blakeman, Emily Downey, who doesn't get nearly enough credit as a libero. People like that have put the work into your program and have now seen opportunities really be given to them and earned by them. What can you say about players like that and what they mean to the success of this volleyball team?
You know, volleyball is a very unique sport because you could have the best player in the world on the team, and the team's not going to be successful if everybody else doesn't do their job. So I think that every kid on our team plays their role, plays their job, does their job effectively. And they may not be stat leaders, but they have to bring their game for us to have success as a team. And as we move forward, it's so important that we move forward as a unit and that everyone brings their game. The kids that you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned that because yesterday in practice we did a drill where Natalie and Emily were on defense and everyone was just hitting at them. So it was just those two getting drilled at, but that's their job, and they fill that role. And you're not going to have big headlines about Emily getting digs or Natalie getting digs, but it's so important to the success of the team what they do on the court.
You know, I'm sure they love that. Let's talk about obviously now your standout players, the ones that do get the limelight, rightfully so. They're talented. They're doing their work and they're great leaders. Grace Auer, Abby Emsch, Lainey Auer as well. What can you say about how they've gone from last year to this year and even raised the bar even higher off an incredible
It's
season last year?
Yeah, they had amazing seasons last year, and this year, I mean, they just continue to grow and learn new things about volleyball and find ways to improve and continue to work. And something that I've always told them since they were young is you guys are really good, but there's always people that are better, and you just got to work harder to become better and just keep climbing the ladder to just improve yourself, get better and better. And that's their work ethic. They don't ever think, hey, I'm really good at volleyball. No, they just keep working to get better and better. And that's what's really cool.
Let's talk about Abby Imch because what I find really interesting about her journey is a lot of kids when they commit to a dream school, your Pitts, your Alabamas for football, whatever it may be, Ohio State, you tend to see them, back off a little bit. Like they've accomplished that goal. Maybe they don't have to work as hard anymore in the high school setting. Abby Imch seems like this year she's even more motivated, even though she's committed to a school, to go out there and almost prove that like she earned that spot or that she deserves to be called a Pit Panther. I don't know what mentality she brings to that table, but it seems like instead of taking a foot off the gas pedal, she's hammering it down even more now that she's committed.
I think Abby wants to continue to get better. I mean, there is no time to relax. She wants to reach her full potential. She's not a kind of kid that takes a day off, even if she really wants a day off or if she's tired, she's still going to work as hard as she can. So I think that mentality of always working to get better and always bringing her best game. So yeah, she's at this level right now, but she wants to get to even higher level. And the way she's going to get there is to keep working hard.
Grace has had a milestone filled year. First player that we could find, we both tried. We both went and looked to do the 1,000 assists, 1,000 kills, 1,000 digs. What's that mean to you, not just as a coach, but as a mom as well, to see that player that has put so much time into the program get a milestone and achievement like that?
It's really cool. I mean, Grace works very hard. She is a leader on the court. She's a leader when we condition. She's just a workhorse. That's her mentality. Um, I think she deserves those individual awards. I think that's really exciting. But for Grace, more than anything, is winning that fourth district title in 4 years was so amazing for her. She's like, Mom, I can't believe every year we've won a district. This is so cool. So Grace is very team oriented, where she's gotten these individual awards, which are amazing and should be celebrated. She's all about the team, and that's just the way she's wired.
I love seeing her almost be a coach sometimes on the floor, especially in that district championship game against Kirtland. They win a set, and I was right next to your huddle, so I could hear her firing up the bench and just saying, "Hey, like I think the words were, if it's not now, then when is it gonna be? Like
Mhm.
let's get up and let's do this." Almost to the point when you probably didn't have to say much in that huddle because you had your players step up and say everything that you were gonna say. What's that like as a coach to have players that do that for you?
That's amazing because if they're not self motivated, I can't motivate them. So the fact that not just Grace, but there's so many in that group that motivate each other and they get excited and they can bring it back together. I mean, I think we were down like what 1916 or 1915 at that time out. We went back. Laney got a huge block, and then we got a few kills, and we got back into that game because of the mentality switch in the huddle that our team brought among themselves. I didn't yell at them. I didn't really have too much to say. I knew that they just needed to have a reset and start playing. So they did that on their own, which was very cool.
Before we talk about that district championship a little bit more in depth, one more thing I want to bring up about this team that I love watching. We've seen state championship teams on YSN in different sports. I think this is the team at this level that is the most loose yet focused at the same time. Like they are so goofy, they're so just having fun, but at the same time, when it's go time, it's like their killer mentality. What do you attribute that to? How are they able to balance that so evenly and be not too focused, but also not too tight?
Well, they love to have fun, and for them, volleyball is fun. And when it becomes tight and when it becomes nervous, they're not going to perform at their best. So they keep it loose. They're there to compete. They love the sport. They love the team. They love the game. So they just have fun doing it. So they mix a little bit of crazy fun, little dancing around in the timeouts and stuff. But then when it's time to buckle down, they can flip the switch right away.
All right, let's talk about this district championship against Kirtland. Obviously, the way it went down, the way it flowed, very similar to last year's matchup against the same team. Very good volleyball. It was close all sets. You guys win in four. They take one set. They take the most lopsided set, though, of the whole match. What was it like to see the flow of the game and to see Kirtland come out and absolutely test you guys and to give you guys a little bit different looks? And I think the biggest thing they gave you was just the ability to swing out a system that you don't see a lot in your schedule. What was that like to see the girls see that, face that, and then of course, beat that and to be able to get through that?
I think against Kirtland, I think we started out playing our game, and then I think we just took a dip. I think mentally we kind of checked out for a while in set two, and we just lost our focus, which hasn't happened to us this year. So in set three, I think when they came back and really started playing their game, refocusing and focusing on every point, we got back into our flow and it just felt better. It was interesting. I think it was the environment. It was loud. It was chaos. It's a district finals, and they just got a couple points on us, and we just kind of froze up a bit. So to see us pull through that was really cool. Out of system, yeah, Kirtland took a ton of out of system swings, very, very good aggressive out of system swings. So I think that we just needed to up our defensive mentality and just be ready for the hit instead of
One of
waiting
the
for the lower ball.
one of the things I noticed really early, and I thought this was going to be happening coming in, Kirtland was just so keyed on Abby. She had 34 kills last year against Kirtland in the district championship. It felt like they were saying, like, that's not going to happen today,
Mm-hmm.
especially early. She was struggling to get rolling. You couldn't really get her a rhythm because they were just so keen on making sure that she wasn't the person that beat you. But then slowly but surely, she still finds a way to impact for you guys and to make the kills and to find ways around that defense. What can you say about her ability to go up against a team's absolutely best effort to stop her, get off to a slow start and then still be able to find a way to make impacts in the game?
I think honestly, reflecting back and watching the film, there's a lot of times where Abby's keyed on and we go away from her to create an opportunity for the hitters that aren't being keyed on. So, I mean, I think our other kids really stepped up well to fill that void. But then when the other kids are putting the balls away, they can't stay with Abby so much, and then it creates more of a balanced attack. So it's like establish your middle and then set your outside. It's really cool because it's like the next level of volleyball, not just setting wherever and getting kills, but actually having a strategy to where you're going to put the ball. Like what swings is Abby going to hit? Where are we going to put her to get away from that block? She had some really nice right side swings on serve receive where they were keying up with her in the middle. So when she was serve receive, when she was hitting right side, there was like a one-on-one situation or an O-on-1 situation where she was just crushing it down the line. So I think for our setters, that's really fun because you get to start to find where can we put the ball that they're not going to be ready for. And then Abby's going to adjust and get her big swings. Might not be the typical swing that you see her,
Right.
that you've seen her hit all year because that's what they're going to be ready for. But we're very versatile and adaptive. So hopefully tomorrow that brings us lots of kills.
Fifth straight district championship, eighth for you as the head coach at Crestview. You're probably asked this a lot, but you gotta ask it. How does it compare to the other ones? Is it any different? Does it feel better? Does it feel the same when you look at all the other ones you've made? Where's this one rank?
I like to appreciate everyone for what it is. It's really cool this year. This is kind of a team that I've been anxious to have, not anxious for them to be seniors or anything like that, but I knew this would be a very special year. So I've been very fortunate as a mom to be able to coach 3 of my daughters in district championships. So at least 2, because Brenna had 2, Lainey had 2, and now Grace has 4. So that is a special moment. You kind of sit back and take the mom role and take it in for a little bit. But for everybody else, I just feel like this team is a very special group and they deserve this. So it's a very amazing district championship, but I like to try to appreciate each one of them the same.
So now we go and we talk about this regional semifinal. You're playing another team that is very used to being in Barberton. Their program has been there a ton. Smithville, the Smithies. What can you say about them? I know you've had plenty of time to look at them on film and kind of prepare for what they do and what they're going to come at you with. Give Crestview fans out there a little scouting report and things that you should expect from Smithville on their side of the net.
Smithville has a very strong middle that they're going to give the ball to a ton. So we need to be ready for that. We're not going to stop her. She's very good, but if we could slow her down a little bit, that will work into our favor. I think they're a solid team. I mean, you don't get to this point and only have 1 loss without having a full, complete team. We've watched some film on them. We've done some drills at practice to try to simulate what they're going to do. If we can stay in system, if we can control the ball, I think that we have a very good chance at this game. But we just have to show up and play.
You get to play the early game, which means, of course, if you win, you get to sit and watch the next one. In these kind of regional settings, you've been to a lot of them. You've been on both sides. Do you like being the first one up, or do you like being there, getting to watch the whole game before you, and then playing the late game? Do you have a preference?
I like to play the first game. Reason being is because, you can get there, you can get the game in, and then you can relax. It's not fun when you lose, though. I mean, then you get to eat your dinner and hop on the bus, but it's nice to watch the team that you're going to play. I've been at both, especially with the travel time. It's nice to be the first game because if you do win, you get to watch 1 or 2 sets and then hop on the bus and go home and rest up for the next game. But in the late game, sometimes if the first game goes long, I mean, you're there forever and you don't get home until very late. So it can be a long night.
Barberton is a great environment. Last year, a lot of these girls were in their first year of varsity. You had a couple of freshmen, couple of players that were in their first year at that level. So even though you've been to 5 straight, this is kind of the second year of everybody in this roster being very keen to what it takes to go down there at Barberton. What can you say about what you learned about the atmosphere and just the regional stakes from last year's game that you take into this year with this roster?
Just start strong. We can't wait to start. We can't get acclimated to the gym. We just got to get in there, warm up, and be ready to play. As much as I didn't like the travel to Medina, I liked playing Medina's gym because it's a larger gym, which gets you a little bit more ready for the Barberton gym. The Barberton gym is very unique. We don't play in a gym that big typically in the season, and it's just long. So sometimes your depth perception is a little off.
Mm-hmm.
So the girls just got to get in there and get tuned in right away.
I've heard one of the hard things about the big gyms is trying to find a place to aim your serves, trying to find that vantage point or that spot that you say I got to hit it at this spot.
Hmm.
Um, when you're preparing for a Barberton, like how do you prepare for that? Obviously, you can't make your Crestview gym bigger. You can't just go and just
Right.
break it. So what do you do to try to prepare for that? Do you tell them to aim to a spot that might be out of Crestview's gym, but it goes to that spot in Barberton, or do you just tell them to work? Is there a way to prepare for that?
I say during the warm up, just get your feel. Like serve a few, pass a few, get the feel of the gym. I really do think Medina helps with that because it was a longer gym and it's just a big environment. And if you notice in the Dalton game, our first 5-6 points, we were just off, and then we started to get into the flow. So I'm hoping that carries over.
We're hoping to, Coach. Regional semifinals. If you win, you go to the regional finals. I know we talked about it. That's your first goal. Obviously every team
Yep.
wants to get into state, but you just want to get there and get this team one win in regionals. If you had to give us 3 keys on your side, we talked about Smithville, but 3 things that you think your team has to do really well to counter those strengths of Smithville and to get the win. Give us a quick three keys to victory for Crestview.
Number one, we have to serve receive well. We can't let them get runs. We got to serve receive well inside out. Number two, we got to play good defense. These teams are going to be swinging. And number three, we got to serve aggressively. So I think if we do those 3 things, we can be effective. Our offense is very strong. So if we can serve, receive, defend, and serve aggressively, I think we will be good to go.
All right, Coach, we're excited. We can't wait. We'll be down there in regionals for you guys. The NDC is the sponsor, so we want to thank them for paving the way for us to go down to Barberton, call the game for Crestview Nation. We'll be down there 6 o'clock in the Purple Palace of Barberton. Coach, thanks for coming on and talking to us today. We can't wait for tomorrow, and we'll see you again really, really soon.
Thank you.